What's up guys, Dzeeff here, and I have to say that I'm probably one of the biggest Frog the Jam fans in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think this card's picture is great, I think this card's history is hilarious. Basically, in the OCG, this card's name does not include the word frog, but when they added it into the TCG, they called it Frog the Jam. Now initially, this didn't matter, but once they started adding frog support into the game, suddenly every single frog support card in the TCG had to specifically say it didn't work with Frog the Jam, because in the OCG, Frog the Jam was not an actual frog monster by name. The eventual solution was to reprint Frog the Jam and change its name to Slimetoad so that they stopped having to say except Frog the Jam on every piece of new frog support. But there are some people, like myself, that still want to call it Frog the Jam, because let's face it, that name is way better. So I love Frog the Jam, and I wanted to try and build a deck that could use it, not just as like a Garnet, but an actual usable card. And you can play Frog the Jam in frogs if you want to. Yes, I know it's called Slimetoad now, so it doesn't work with any of the cards in the deck that work with frog cards. So how you play Frog the Jam is that you can use it with cards like Rescue Rabbit and Unexpected Die to help make Totally Awesome on turn 1. And actually, when Toad was released in the OCG, decks like this did see some experimentation. If you wanted to play a more competitive frog deck, you'd probably cut all of these cards to add in hand traps, but honestly, these cards do increase your consistency. You can make Toad a lot more often on turn 1, and they can help you play through interruptions as well. So as you'll see in the clips in today's video, I actually was able to use Frog the Jam a number of times, and it was pretty good. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the clips, and make sure to stick around until the very end to check out the deck profile. Fuck, it's really hard to banish 6. I should have maybe thought about this. I don't think you can banish 6 with Prosperity. Yeah, 3 would have been fine. We're still gonna add the 3 card. That feels so bad. Wait, what the fuck? We got doubles? 3 sets of doubles in one reveal? It's kind of nuts. Anyway, please don't veil Rescue Rabbit. So fun fact, chat, that's the wrong zone to put Totally Awesome, but also, this particular build actually saw play in the OCG when Toad came out. The worst part is that they didn't even play Frog the Jam. You were supposed to play, I think, Psychic Kappa? So, those were wild times. Look at that little guy. Oh my gosh. John, House of Champs, he gave me a playset of ultra rare OCG Frog the Jams. Incredible. Okay. He won't have a pendulum to use his vortex strike. Oh, but it can bounce. Ooh, that's rough. Oh, I could have used Toad. Maybe I would have done that. Shit, we need to make a Frog the Jam emote. That sounds kind of cool. Isn't stealing this vortex dragon, like, insane? Oh, no, not really, because I don't have any face of pendulum monsters. Unless I do. We get to add Frog the Jam back! Let's go! Wow. Now this is true power. You can loop Frog the Jam. They said it couldn't be done, but it can be done. I promise. Can we use passes? You're about to lose to Frog the Jam. Oh, I can't use that. I actually cannot use this Prosperity. Frog the Jam getting used again. That is amazing. What a great card. Honestly, I could Prosperity. I think this game is not going to last that long, so I think I could. The nuts, man. Been able to summon 3 total copies of Frog the Jam. That's what I'm talking about. Is Frog the Jam a Garnet? Frog the Jam is insane. Like, I want to open 3 copies of this card every single game. It's that good. It strikes fear into the opponent's eyes. Yep, that will probably secure it. Balloons wouldn't have been bad either, just because it is pendulums. I think this is better. What could the Frog the Jam emote be? Or should it just be Frog the Jam? God, that sounds like such a good emote. I was thinking about, what could I do for the other god cards? My friend Ricky told me to do Pog for Slifer. That could be kind of funny. What? Wait, I pressed no to the Toad effect? I know what Totally Awesome does, okay? Don't post that shit. Oh, man. Add Frog the Jam back. Dude, Fabled are cool, but I don't know how to play them. And I think that you should know that if you're trying to play a deck. Pendulum Summon 3, I dare you. How else would you want it? No, I mean, like, I don't know, like, what the cards do. The new ones. Odd Eyes Wizard Dragon? What? Nice Pendulum Summon 3. Oh, Wizard Dragon activates? Does it? You think I care about that? I think he still just loses, by the way. It turns out getting striked for 3 is a quick way to lose. I think the problem with Fabled, it's the same problem it's always been, just scaled differently. They've always been able to like do crazy combos, but they kind of always have lost to hand traps. Now they've gotten a lot more support over the years, but they still kind of lose to hand traps, which is interesting. This is kind of crazy, by the way. This Frog the Jam is gonna be crazy. And we're doing this after forgetting to use the Toad. Nowadays, I think they have a lot more cards, which I think is great, but I think that they have a much harder time playing through the current hand traps, you know, like proportionate to nowadays. This is so crazy, man. This is still very good. Hold on, this is kind of crazy. This is really good. Wow. Oh wait, Opabangi doesn't work. Oh no, it does. This just says attacked. Oh my gosh, I had to summon it in attack mode. I mean, it's not like I really wanted Zeus anyway, but still. Are we looking at a winning strike with Frog the Jam? Every time I look at this card's fucking real name, I just get so angry. Slime Toad. The disrespect. Triple Judgment Frog the Jam? Good luck, dude. I've never wanted a hand that was better than this. This is as good as it gets. It's Triple Solemn Judgment Frog the Jam. Triple Judge. Double Jam. And this time I'm going to remember to use the Totally Awesome. Maybe I should have gone for the Swap Frog. What does this guy say? A slime with the head of a frog. It attacks by croaking terribly. Okay, if they're not gonna fucking errata the description to say Toad, that just means that you know that Slime Toad is Frog the Jam. Because they didn't change the description to say a slime with the head of a toad. Does anyone else notice this? Ooh, that's a normal summonable monster. I think we know what that means. What does it keep asking if I want to do when I take damage? I do not. Yeah, Arsenal summon this, yep. I use that card in dueling, so it's kind of cool. You could add Guardians to the Throne. Can't I OTK? I'm sure I can. Although I keep thinking I have way more frogs engraved than I actually do. Because I can't banish the Frog the Jams. It's been a while since I've used Boros Sword. Honestly, this deck is pretty straightforward. We have, of course, 3 copies of Frog the Jam, 3 copies of Dupe Frog, 3 copies of Swap Frog, 2 copies of Ronin Totem, and 3 copies of Rescue Rabbit, 3 copies of Unexpected Die, 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity, 3 copies of Impermanence, 3 copies of Dinomischus, 3 copies of Olenoids, 2 copies of Marilla, and 3 copies of Canadia. Finally, we have 3 copies each of Solemn Strike and Solemn Judgment. So if you wanted to play a more competitive Frog deck, you would obviously just cut these cards and add more hand traps, but we're trying to summon Frog the Jam. We're not trying to win any tournaments here, and these cards are pretty fun. Then we have the extra deck, which I think could use a few changes, but here's what I was playing. 3 copies of Toad, 1 copy of each of the Paleozoic rank 2s. We have a Sky Cavalry, 2 copies of Zeus, 2 copies of the Paleozoic for some reason. I wanted to try it out, but it ended up not being very useful. At least you can banish the extra copy off of Prosperity, 2 copies of Mistar Boy, 1 copy of Boral Sword, 1 copy of Access Code Talker, and 1 copy of the Marincess link to. Anyway, that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This deck is not meant to be super competitive, but it is surprisingly good when you go first. It does actually help you summon Toad a lot more often. I'll see you later though. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.